Um, I'm Paul Conrad. I'm the CEO of Aspen. I have been with Aspen this February. It'll be 19 years. I have been CEO since January of 2025. Since I have taken over, we have done some refocusing, but I will talk about that in a minute. I'll quickly let Tiffany introduce herself and why she can also tell you why she's here.
Thank you. So I'm Tiffany Hamilton. I'm the Vice President of Workforce and Organizational Development with Aspen. I've been with Aspen for 5 years, and during that time, I have helped grow our workforce development programs and training with our CHW, including our apprenticeship programs and now stepping into work-based learning. So thank you for having us.
Thanks, Tiffany. For those of you who aren't familiar with Aspen, I'll briefly let you know who we are. Aspen, we just celebrated our 30th anniversary, so we have been around for a long time. We are made up of, we have currently have seven members and are looking to add another one. Thank you, Zoe. We have five community mental health centers: Bowen, Hamilton Center, Community Howard Kokomo, Centerstone, Valley Oaks, and two addiction providers, Life Treatment, and the YWCA North Central Indiana. Um, Probably the most relevant thing to this group is our workforce development. We are the largest and oldest certified community health worker training organization in the state. We have been training CHWs for 2009. We started the first peer program for DMHA back in 2009, and now we are continuing to train peers. We were the first U.S. Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program in the state. So probably if you are looking for CHWs, we are the people that you should probably be talking to if you did not know that already. Tiffany, why don't you give a little background on some of our programs and how CMHCs can and members of this organization can collaborate with us. She's my subject matter expert, so I want to make sure you get the right information.
Sure, thank you. So, as Paul said, we're the oldest training provider here in the state of Indiana. We're one of the certifying bodies as well for our community health workers. So, all Aspen certified CHWs are eligible for reimbursement in the state, as well as our new dual certification for CHWs and certified peer recovery support specialists. That's approved through NADAC, and so it makes individuals eligible for that national certification for the peers through NADAC. And once they have that, then they're eligible to bill for peer services in addition to community health worker services. Um, our community health worker training is very comprehensive. It's a holistic approach to CHWs, preparing them for not only behavioral health, but also primary care, um, and also that community outreach and social drivers of health, all of those things. So it's, again, very comprehensive approach. We also provide professional development opportunities. So we have certificate courses for chronic care, domestic violence, opioid impacted family support, opioid treatment basics. We've just recently launched our youth mental health as well, and a supervisory series, which includes supervising community health workers. Um, with that, all of those are approved and certified through the Department of Workforce Development. So if you can tap into the employee training grant and get reimbursed up to $5,000 per employee, up to $50,000 per year. And they have to be employed for 6 months. So it's an upfront cost, but after they've been employed for that long, then you would be eligible to be reimbursed from the DWD on that. Um, with that, we have the U.S. Department of Labor Registered Apprenticeship Program for CHWs too. And so that obviously includes a CHW as well as the chronic care opioid treatment basics family support, and then virtual or in-person field placements. Um, Once they complete that related instruction, didactic training, then they move into the on-the-job learning, which is 2,080 hours. During that time, they work for you. They complete monthly forms, helping them connect that didactic training to real world practice and reinforce the learning. that they've done already, and then they receive a certificate of completion from the Offices of Apprenticeship once they're successfully completed that apprenticeship program. So we have 74 employer partners around the state. Some of you are on here already, but we're always looking to expand that and give more opportunities for people to implement the use of CHWs into their organizations and practices, as well as giving individuals the opportunity to continue their learning as CHWs. Um, with that, we're stepping into that work-based learning area for high school age students as well. So traditionally, ASPIN has trained adult learners, and over the last couple of years, through the Workforce Innovation Grant, we've stepped into that high school space. And with that, we are our CHW certification is a credential of value, and so it applies for students to help them earn their high school diplomas in alignment with the new diploma pathways here in the state. So whether that's employment or education, we fit into each of those categories. And so, as I said, we're entering that work-based learning space, and I think that's a great opportunity for you all to be involved also and start tapping into that talent pool and that career pipeline for your organizations, identifying candidates early on that are interested in going directly into the field in that paraprofessional role, or those that are continuing their education, whether that's in social work, if they want to be a therapist, nursing, whatever it may be. So again, just connecting you to those students early on, I think is really valuable and just really helps fill in that need that we have here in the state. With that, there is an earn and learn model is very popular now with the career and technical education programs. And so the students, to be successful, we're really emphasizing the importance of paying them while they're there doing that work-based learning as well. Obviously, at a much lower rate as they're students. But again, there's the Earn Indiana program through the state too. So any employers that are taking on high school students and paying them for their work-based learning can tap into that Earn Indiana. And I believe it's 50% of the wages you pay can be reimbursed through that model. I may be off on that, but I'm 95% sure that's true on the percentage. So that's another way to help kind of fill that need for you. And then last point is with Grow Indiana and the Rural Health Transformation Program here in the state. I'm sure as all of you know, community health workers are a key component of that, both in the statewide and regional initiatives. And ASPIN is more than happy to help you train, certify, upskill your CHWs as well as peers. And then we'd also love to be involved and help come and help you figure out how to implement and integrate CHWs into your practices and get that rolling for you. So again, would love to partner with any of you on those regional committees, as well as we'll hopefully be moving forward with some state things as well. So a lot of great opportunities here for us to work with all of you. And I think that's a very quick overview of our different programs that we have available. So back to you, Paul.
Questions for Tiffany before we move on? She did just share quite a bit of information, but any questions on that?
This is Jennifer from Centerstone. I parked. A quick question. I like, I head up our peer services at Centerstone, and I would really like more information on the NADAC, the national certification. We don't currently have anybody with that, but I feel like we could be a great partner. And then is there an email list that we can get on so that we can get this information? Because a lot of this is the first time I've heard it. It's really good.
Absolutely. So we can, sorry, Paul, we can definitely connect on this and send you some of that information. And then if you want to have a follow-up meeting and dive into this further, we can definitely do that too.
Yeah, you could, and We have a sign up for our basic mailing list on the homepage of ASPIN.org. But Tiffany is the contact person for these programs. I mean, you can contact me, but I'll just send you to her so you get the correct information. But yes, we definitely can add more, or she can fill you in with more.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Other questions? Paul, what else would you like our members to know about ASPIN?
Yes, thank you. Couple things just to reemphasize our CHW training. We've trained over 2,200 CHWs for the state of Indiana. And I just wanted to reiterate that. And one of the things too that, one of the things too is when I took over as CEO, I gave our staff a directive to become truly collaborative in our programs. And that is not only to members, but to other CMHCs. So if you are if you're writing a grant that can involve any kind of training component, thank you, Tiffany. Or you need, you want to train CHWs, definitely reach out. We are not just here to serve our members, but we are collaborative. And I do want to give just a personal note on the value of community health workers. I mentioned to some when we first started that my son is working in our field, and when he was at IU, he got a degree in psychology, and he went through our community health worker training as an add-on. Two things. First, they were using some of the material that we were using, so we're college level. But when he applied for a job at Sandra Eskenazi Health, they gave him a year's experience credit for having that certified CHW credential. So, it is a valued credential outside of for a lot of organizations. So, I think at that point, I'm open to questions too. Just what do you got?
Tiffany did put the link in there to be able to get on to ASPIN's mailing list. So you can reference that in the chat. Any other questions, Linda?
Yeah, I think the one question I have is certified health workers, which certainly been very familiar with them over the years, but I'm curious as to how that translates to CCBHC. Can you give us some information on that? Is that, obviously we have peers and we know we have a payment point on that. And then we have our other staff that qualify to bill services. Is certified health worker, where does that fit?
Go ahead, Tiffany.
So the last CCBHC report I read, which has been a little while, referenced CHWs in the same way they referenced peers. I know that Indiana tends to have a focus more on the peer aspect of it, but CHWs are included in that language as well. And a lot of our CHWs also have lived experience with substance use or co-occurring disorders. And so again, there's that dual approach, which I think is really valuable in making sure that we're taking that holistic approach to treating our clients, not just that SUD. So I think they're there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's a conversation we should have with the state because we have health coaches, right? And I'm very familiar with CHWs because of the work that I've done with FQs, right? And you're right, it is sort of a certification angle that would be comparable to peers in the health realm. And I'd just be curious as to if anybody else is currently using them. And sort of how that's going. But Zoe, I do think that would be a good conversation for us to have with DMHA.
Yes.
And just so I'm sorry, Zoe.
Nope.
Just so you know, our curriculum is very broad. We have a whole section on chronic conditions. It is when we developed this, and a lot of this stemmed from the federal grants we received that had different focuses, but we've taken those modules and now we have a really comprehensive and broad training library that covers just about anything. I mean, seriously, that relates to this field, both behavioral and traditional health. So.
you, Linda, for that. Any other questions while we have ASPIN?
There's one in the chat, Tiffany. Duration of CHW training.
Yep.
The CHW training alone, so just that CHW, is about 47 hours. That includes all the didactic training and time that we allow also for the assignments tied to each of the 19 modules and the certification exam.
And then the registered apprenticeship requirements are 100.
We're grandfathered in at 137, but with the updates we've done, we're at about 143, 144 of related instruction, that didactic training, plus the 2,080 hours. I do also want to point out, I think I did not mention that our training is online. It's asynchronous, and so they're hybrid. It's hybrid. So they're able to work on it in their own time. And what we do is we've been working with organizations to train staff. We develop a study plan as a guide to help support them and make sure they complete the training within the time frame that you want for them. So we provide a lot of support. They have one assigned instructor that they're with throughout all of their training. And then there's some assignments that they meet with them virtually, but to work on other things too.
So it's not just they log in and go through, click through modules. They are interactive with and sometimes virtually face-to-face with their instructor to give them feedback.
Great, awesome. Great questions. Thank you, guys. And thank you, ASPIN. So just a few reminders from the Indiana Council lens and seat. Just so you all know, January 29th, we are having a Year of Impact CCBHC celebration that Leanne has been helping with our demo sites. We will have Senator Kreider on. We will have a client that started as a client, then worked their way as a peer, and now working in crisis services. We will have a wonderful sheriff down in the southern part of the state. And really what this is, so just so you guys know, Leanne was a cheerleader and I was a mascot. So you put the two of us together, you have yourself a CCBHC pep rally, right? And so that's what this is going to be, because the two of us can cheer on this with all of you. So we have close to 200 registrations, both state and federal. And this will be really celebrating the great work of our 8 demonstration sites, as well as a call to advocacy around the federal policy that we are trying to get moving, that dropped in the Senate, and we need it to get picked up on the House side to continue certified community behavioral health clinics as a federal model. But within that, of course, there is always work to be done within our state regarding full transformation. So we will be doing that on the 29th. Please register for that. It is a Zoom webinar, so it will be different than this format just because we will have so many people signed on. So trying to kind of manage that level of attendance. And then on January 30th, if you don't have it down and you are interested in attending either virtually or in person, is the FSSA quarterly fiscal review. I know several of us have been attending those regularly. Our Cup of Joe on February 10th is important to highlight. It is Larisha Radliff from Medicaid, and she has been instrumental in working with CMS on a planning waiver that they got a grant for regarding our incarcerated youth. And there is some funding available regarding some of the targeted case management that could be done as part of this planning. And so Larisha is going to be sharing that with us on February 10th. And then last but certainly not least is our State Hill Day, and that is February 17th. Remember, the vision is to have, for those of you who have been up the State House, to have both of those stairwells full of members of community mental health and certified community behavioral health clinics. It is so important because they wrap up on February 27th. So being there on the 17th, talking about community mental health, talking about the importance and how we're good stewards of the dollars for crisis services and CCBHC is so important before they leave and we start prepping for the heavy lift that we have next budget session. So want to make sure you guys are all aware of that. please register for that today. Both of those would be great to have everyone in attendance. And then if you have, when you're online registering, if you have not donated to our PAC yet, if you haven't heard in the news, there's already primaries and whatnot starting to be filed, and it is going to be a very competitive session as far as people running. So please sign on and donate to our PAC so that we can have a voice amongst all of this. And then also, if you know any members, such as ASPIN is a perfect example of who can we have under our tent to help in amplifying our voice. If you have any suggestions on that, please reach out to Leanne Jordan, because we would love to connect with them either as a member or a partner. So we actually need to do our winner. So Edwin, who did you pick to be the Starbucks winner today?
Well, if it's up to me,
It's always up to you, right? You're the sponsor.
Well, I'll share my screen. I put the names of everybody who had their camera on. Are Paul and Tiffany part of the role, or not them?
Well, as the presenters, probably not. Yeah.
Indeed. And so I've got whoever put their camera on at some point in the last half an hour is in this list. And so I'm gonna just spin the wheel and see who wins. A little bit of fun to start the year. All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
How fun is that?
Oh, just missed Lisa. All right, so I got a Bill with the Original Care Group background.
Okay.
Not sure last name, but there, congratulations.
Oh, no, that is Bill, and he is on our board, and that is wonderful. So Bill will get the Starbucks gift card. So let's, all the links Leanne put in there to be able to access. So all of that is in the chat if people want to grab that. But for now, let's raise our cups and say cheers to a great 26. Thank you for being an engaged member. Please reach out and be engaged this legislative session. We cannot do it without your local voice. I appreciate all of you. And of course, Leanne said, go Hoosiers. I'm sure Seth and everyone else would agree on that call. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.